For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, we are live and amplified. So let's get ready to podcast.
Fire it up.
Welcome, everybody, to another live and amplified livecast. I'm your host, Tom Quiet, and we are back at it again with another amazing podcast. Today, we have a very special guest. We have Amber Ray Dunn. How's it going today, Amber?
Hi, guys.
Glad to have you on. I know we went back and forth a little bit on social media to try and get you on, and we have a couple of mutual friends that I just learned about actually today, or just realized. I knew you were in the Memphis.
Who are they?
Nia Nichols and you're gonna put me on the spot now. Dang it.
I'm sorry.
No, it's good. But Nia Nichols and
I knew Nia.
Yeah.
If you think of the other one, it's fine.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you tell somebody what's the name, that's when your mind goes blank. So you're good.
She was on The Voice.
Savannah.
Yeah, Savannah. There you go. I was like, it's something with an S. Savannah. Yeah. I was just like,
Speaking of Savannah, this is my Savannah hat. You know, she always wears a hat.
But yeah, no. So like when you reached out to me about being on the podcast, I was like, yes, absolutely. You know, so it's
Savannah's great.
Yeah, she really. I need to get her back on. It's been probably about 6 months since I've had her on last.
Okay.
And so I need to reach out to her. But first off, I want to thank you so much for jumping on the podcast. I'm really excited to sit down, chat, get to know more about you and your music and what you got going on, because you are busy this month. You just released Barbershop at the tail end of January. You're getting ready to release the music video for that. And then you've got the next body of work ready to go right after that at the end of February. So you're staying busy, plus all the other creative things that you do.
Yeah, I don't have kids.
Yeah.
So I'm able to do all that.
Yeah, I got you. I feel you.
I love kids, and if I ever meet your kid, I'm totally gonna try to adopt it because as a surrogate mom. But that's why I have all the time to do all of this.
Gotcha. So for the people that are just getting to know you and just getting introduced to you, what's your background? What got you into music?
All right. So I don't have a lengthy background. I didn't start until after college. So
Okay.
I was about 23 and I had a buddy that had a reggae band, and I went to a arts college. He was a video design major or something, and I was a sculpture student. And he told me that he could hear me humming in the sculpture studio. And because I hummed on key, he assumed that I could probably sing. And I was like, well, I always thought I could. But I have 6 siblings. So I never really heard feedback from my parents or my siblings outside of shut up kind of thing. And I joined his reggae band, did that for a while, and he was the one that prompted me to try to write, and I did. Wrote Arkansas Line, the very first song I'd ever written. Thought it kind of sounded like Loretta Lynn's Coal Miner's Daughter, who at that time was I was her biggest fan. And it just all snowballed. I realized as a creative person, really in college is where I realized I was a creative person. And then after college, I realized that music was a little more fun for me creatively. Then I still do sculptures, and I do love my sculptures. But to be a freelance artist and promote that almost takes as much time as it does to be a freelance musician. Yeah. And you kind of have to pick one or the other. I probably show in a gallery sculpture-wise once a year.
Yeah.
That's not a lot, but music kind of took on a little more of a hold. So.
Yeah. I got you. That's the interesting thing about college is it kind of gives you the freedom to kind of explore and just find yourself. Like, I knew when I was in high school and grade school that I was kind of creative in some way because I was always making up random stories and stuff, but I just didn't know how to let that creativity out. And I was in college and me and my buddies were talking about this stupid idea we had for a movie. And I had my course catalog in front of me. I was like, well, maybe we should learn how to write a script. And there was a script writing class right there. And I was like, bingo. And that was the launch
Well,
of
so
that.
I will say I got called in to read a script one time, and only because I had like lightly thought about getting into theater. I
Mhm.
literally, outside of running in the cornfields and catching fish, I'd never done anything. And
Yeah.
so I told a buddy who was in theater, and he brought me over to a little script reading thing, and it was intense.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking, like, wow, these people that write these scripts, they really, like, there's this little mind that's just like running, and there's this story and these people, and they're all doing things, and they're drinking coffees, and they're walking over to the fridge, and just, that's a lot of creativity all at
Yeah.
once.
It's one of those things where you just got to kind of be able to revert back to being a child and playing make believe. Like you just got to be able to set yourself parameters and be like, okay, this is the scenario.
Well, so I respect that, because
Yeah.
that to me was too much creativity. Like, well,
Yeah.
I could never focus into
Yeah.
that.
So you started playing music and experimenting with music once you got into college. Was anybody while you were growing up, was anybody in your family musical at all, or was it just
No,
no?
not really. My mom is very creative with food. She
Okay.
is a phenomenal Southern cook. And my father is a barber. He's been a barber for 55 years.
Yep.
And technically, you're sculpting hair into a style.
Yeah.
So I like to think he's a sculptor.
Yeah.
And so there is creativity, not
Yeah.
necessarily music. My
Music.
older brother always played piano a little bit, but
Uh,
not a lot. And so I just was really never around it.
yeah.
Sounds so dumb, but
Yeah.
it's true.
Gotcha. Well, that kind of opens up the nice little segue. You said your dad was a barber and you're also a hairstylist, correct?
Yes, sir.
And your most recent single is Barbershop.
Yeah, it only took me 12 years of being a barber before I finally wrote a song about it.
Uh,
Uh,
w-
but
what's
yeah, that's
kind
the new single.
what's the story, or what's kind of the story behind the song?
Well, funny you should ask that. As soon as the video is out, you'll really get the story,
Okay.
because we've got some characters in it. And but basically it's just kind of the life of the barber shop.
Hmm.
I've always thought that was a very interesting thing. And small towns in America in general are just a little bit dying.
Mhm.
And the barbershop that I work in is just an old school, like, I don't know, there's just crap all over the walls,
Yeah.
and somebody's entire life. My dad has lived in this shop his entire life, ever since he was 18. All of the pictures of every kid at every age, and every little passage he's cut out of a magazine, and every photo of a good haircut out of a magazine, and stuff from the 70s,
Yeah.
60s, 50s. Like, it's just this hodgepodge of junk
Mhm.
that makes it really beautiful, because it's
Yeah.
so Americana,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah. I
I don't
remember growing up in the south suburbs of Chicago, the barbershop my dad used to take me to was the same barbershop he went to as a kid, was the same
yeah.
barbershop that my yeah, so it's like if like the guy was the main guy, his name was Harvey. He was like a
Yeah.
Vietnam or not Vietnam. He was a little probably Korea. He was a war vet. I knew that much, but like as to which war. Um and he would tell stories about my dad coming in as a little kid, and it's
Yeah.
just like, and I missed it, and, like, once I got out of college, he ended up having to retire, and so, like, the shop closed and all that, and but no,
Well,
I
I see so many people come in, and as like a grandson or something, maybe they didn't really get to spend many years with their grandpa, and so I almost watch them come in for a reference point of stories about their grandpa. And it's weird, you kind of take people that you love and you're close with for granted. And so, like, if your mom or grandma or somebody else told you these stories, you might not really listen. But when it's the third party telling you this story about your
yeah,
grandpa, it really sinks in a little bit deeper. And I watch that on a daily basis, and I think it's so cool.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, all these stories is kind of what helped mold the single Barbershop?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I won't really say that the song is about the stories. This is,
Yeah,
you always have to do your maiden voyage.
yeah,
And so this song is just introducing you guys to where I work, the
nice.
barbershop. And I guess as an artist later in my career, I'll probably develop more of what, the stories are, or those little nuances that make it. But right now it's just kind of like, hey, barbershop, this place, you have one of these, you used to go there, here you go.
It was funny because when I first got introduced to you, I think was right when you were wrapping up production on the music video. So I was seeing like little not clips, but like photos of you at a barbershop, and I was just like, oh, okay, cool. And then now it just kind of all makes sense. And I'm like, all right, awesome. I can't wait to see the music video.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna say he sent me a rough draft today, and
uh,
then I actually got in trouble. The guy that's doing the video for me is the guy that had the reggae band that I was in way back when, and I would trust him with anything. Literally, he's just
mm,
phenomenal at what he does. And this is his first time doing me a video. I knew it was gonna be amazing,
yeah,
but he texted me back after we did all the shots, and he was like, "Amber, you have gum in your mouth." And I was like, okay, well, but at work I would have gum in my mouth. And he was like, yes, but you can't have gum. You're chewing in every shot. But I did that because I was going to be in people's faces and I didn't want to have bad breath.
yeah,
Okay, right?
yeah. No, it makes perfect sense.
Anyway,
But
so we got to do some more filming on Sunday.
okay, when's the video officially releasing, or because you have to do reshoots now, it's getting pushed a little bit?
Well, it was supposed to be this week, but because Amber likes to chew gum, it might be next week.
Okay. Fair enough. I get both sides of the story. Like, you want to keep it authentic to how you'd really be, but just you chomping away on gum in the shot is like,
Hey, but I will say my dad pointed out today at the shop to we were talking about it with the customers because I let them watch the preview.
yeah,
And he was like, well, but in Grease, which I haven't watched Grease in a while, but I love that movie. He said she's actually chewing gum in the beauty school dropout scene.
yeah.
And so I don't know. I need to rewatch it. And then I'm going to.
This is the third conversation about Grease I've had today.
What? That's wild.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend this morning. She had asked me if I'd ever seen the movie Grease, and I'm like, yeah, like,
Yes, I'm alive.
yes, I've seen the movie Grease. And yeah, so that was the first conversation. And then the second one, my mom called me. She was like, hey, did you hear that they're coming out with a third prequel to Grease? And I'm like, and then I
Yeah.
looked it up and I was like, yeah, they're also coming out with the TV series. So
What?
yeah,
But some
Paramount.
things are left or well enough alone kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, the scary thing about the prequel, not to go on off a Grease tangent, but
I love Grease though. We can do it. We can do it.
but really quick, from what I understand about the prequel, is it's about the summer before that Danny and Sandy met, and I'm like, how's that going to work? John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John are both like 65-ish in that range.
Yeah, I don't want to see neither one of them in a bathing suit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and so it's just kind of like,
Love
okay,
you, Olivia. But no.
but no. So third Grease conversation I've had today. I
Interesting.
love it. So Barbershop, the single's out now. The music video kind of not on hold, but that's to be determined just yet. What was it about this song that you decided, okay, now's the time to release it, and now's the time to kind of put it out?
Well, so I will say I didn't actually write it. Me
Okay.
and this producer that I'm working with, a new producer, Billy Smiley out in Nashville, we're recording at a place called Sound Kitchen, which is in Franklin. We met about a year and a half ago, maybe at a songwriter retreat, and he invited me out to Nashville to see his studio, see his setup, see if I wanted to record with him. And when I came out there, he just kind of, we were just getting to know each other. It was a weekend, and I spent 3 days every day at the studio, and we just kind of got to know each other to see if it would work or not. And in telling him about my life and stuff, he was like, have you ever written a song about the barbershop? And I was like, well, I've started some, but I've never actually finished any of them. So he was like, well, let's do it. And so we just kind of in that moment together, kind of learning each other, wrote that song. And he's a lot better with he's good with melodies and then instrumentation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more lyrics and melodies.
Yeah.
And so between the two, we both landed on melodies, but I'm more lyrics, he's more instrumentation. And so it was really kind of cool. I think we wove it together really well, and I don't know, it came out. If I would have wrote a song about a barbershop, that's probably what I would have. Even though I have some others that I'm still working on,
Yeah.
I really am happy that this was the first one that I'm going with, because it really kind of encapsulates my day to day life.
Mm, nice. That's awesome. It's always great when you can release a music video and a song that relates to you on a completely different level. Like just, just kind of I don't want to necessarily say on a personal level, but on a personal level. Like
Nah,
just
I'm cool with it, because
yeah,
if we ever continue to be friends, you'll learn I'm a very autobiographical songwriter.
nice.
I will tell you all the dirty
You
laundry.
you gotta write about what you know, right?
I do. There's guys out there that can write those beautiful epic story songs.
Yeah.
Like all those. What was it? Oh, I don't remember the guy that sang all the like cowboy songs. But some people can write those really good story songs about
Yeah.
this. Like you said, you're a screenwriter. No, Marty Robbins, all the songs that he sang. I don't know who wrote them,
Yeah.
but those are all story songs about being a cowboy. Not that Marty Robbins was or anything, but it's a story song. I can't do that to save my life. That's where I hope to get one day. I want to write a song about somebody else, what you did,
Yeah.
instead of telling everybody what I did, because sometimes it's embarrassing.
Yeah. I got you. I feel you on that one. So, what now that you're kind of in the thick of things with the single being out and the music video getting ready to get released, what's kind of going through your mind as you prepare for the music video and then the eventual release of it's a single, right? That's coming out?
Yes. Well, so it's kind of a it's kind of cool, because we're doing one single a month for this entire year,
Okay.
for at least 10 months,
Nice.
maybe the whole 12. We're still kind of navigating that, if the
Nice.
funding comes. So if anybody out there would like to fund in any portion my project, even if it's $10, I don't care, I'll take it.
Nice.
But we're looking for funding to fund it. As of now, it's 10 songs, and each song is going to come out one a month, and then hopefully an accompanying music video, whether it's an actual full production like we're doing with Barbershop, or
Mm,
it's a lyric video.
okay.
And then obviously these little interviews and some radio slots and that kind of thing. But this song is just kind of the number one
Mm,
to a 10 song, 10-month
yeah.
huge project. And I've never taken on anything this big. So
Yeah.
it's very daunting, very
Oh
scary,
yeah.
very stressful. I wake up just
Especially
about
since you
every
added
day.
on the music video aspect. Like even yes, it's not a full production, but it's still a lyric video because I'm not a lyric video maker, but I've made one or two in my
Yeah.
day, and those things.
I'm pretty sure I'm
Whew,
gonna die this year.
no, no, I think you got it. In fact, I know you got it. Like
Oh,
it,
thank you. You say a couple extra prayers, because it's gonna be a lot, but it's go big or go home. And I've always been very spunky and very outgoing and very, jump on opportunities,
yep,
but I've never done it to this extreme. And
yeah,
kind of having these songs already positioned to
yeah.
come out at that time, and videos, kind of helps me focus in and do all the rest of it in the timely manner it should be done.
Yeah, absolutely. So for the 10 songs, you have them all, you know which song's going to be released on which month. They're all at least written. Nice. Hey,
It's scary as hell.
y- so would the plan be then at the end of the year that you release it all as like one album, or you just kind of staying with the singles, or am I
Well, so I
talking too
haven't
much?
talked to him yet, but there's a guy here in Memphis, and he's one of our only vinyl
Ooh,
pressers,
yay.
I guess, in
That's
America. And I'm going to see if he will press me a vinyl, because why not? Why not? And why not go a little nostalgic with it? And so
I
once we
love it.
get to the 10 songs,
Yeah,
we would like to press a vinyl, but
nice.
that's just a tentative idea.
I love vinyl so much. Like I have one of these little Victrola things that
Yeah.
you'll see at like Best Buy or Target, like the little suitcase Victrola deals.
Hmm.
And I've just started buying vinyl as I see them at independent. Well, I mean, I haven't done it this past year because shows really haven't been a thing.
Yeah.
But like whenever I go to shows and I see somebody selling vinyl, I'll take the vinyl.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, just
So
because.
that's what I did the last show I went to before all this is I bought the girls' vinyl. So
Vinyl's cool. Like even if you don't have any real intention on listening to it, because I'm not gonna lie, my record player just doesn't sound all that great because it's a little speaker inside of a suitcase, so it doesn't sound all that great.
oh no, I bet you have the same one I have at the shop.
Probably, yeah. But it's just one of those
I have
things
that
where
same Victrola. I know what
yeah,
you're talking about.
it's just one of those things where it's like it's a piece of vinyl though. I love it. Like it's just perfect. And there's like some wiring in the back that I could like route the speaker out into like a whole thing, but it's like eh, I think I'm good. But
Well, and another thing, being I guess I don't know if common people feel the same way, but being an artist, what I like about the vinyl is it's like this big, tangible
mm,
thing.
yeah,
Yeah, it's almost like having the artist t-shirt, but there's so many more cool things.
yeah.
There's like all the discography and all the writers and maybe even the lyrics.
You're holding a literal piece of art.
Yeah, and
And
and then it's so big that if you want to like put it on the wall as a piece of artwork, because that's that beautiful picture of Loretta Lynn I've always liked, you
yeah,
can do that too. And it's so cool. It's like a thing.
yeah, absolutely. That's ultimately why I buy the vinyl that I buy, because it's like there was a band that I was supposed to interview back before the pandemic hit, and then their show was actually the day everything kind of shut down, so didn't get a chance to interview them. But before the interview, they were getting ready to release their album, and I was like, I'm gonna buy the album, and then I'm gonna have them sign it when I go interview them, and then I'll hang it up in the wall.
Hell yeah.
But the kicker was like they only released 400 vinyl. They had 200 red vinyls and 200 gold vinyls. And so it was like, okay, I have one of 200. I actually don't remember what I got now, if it was red or gold. Like I was just like, I don't really care. Give me one.
That's
Um,
awesome.
but I have one of 200 pieces of artwork. So it's just kind of like
Yeah.
I'm into it. I dig it.
Well, and I think that's another reason I like it, being an artist at heart,
Yeah.
it's just kind of what you just said.
Yep, absolutely. So vinyl, it's not off the table, but it's definitely a
Oh
possibility.
no, it's happening.
Oh,
I
it's
just
happening?
haven't told Jeff that we're doing it.
I
No,
got you.
it's already happening. I'm one of those go-getter type people. And if I've already said we're doing it, we're just gonna do it. And then I'll live to see another day, I'm hoping. And I'll
Nice.
live to write another song. And it
I
just,
will tell you this,
yes.
mark me down for one.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Mark me down for one. I got you.
Gotcha.
Um, so so you're taking on an ambitious year. Like, I mean, you almost have to at this point because we literally don't know what's going to happen this year, like with COVID and regulations. Our show's going to open. Like I know Texas is very hit or miss. Like one weekend I'll get an email saying, hey, there's 30 shows going on this weekend, and then I won't get another email for 2 weeks, and it's like, come on
Yeah.
guys. Like
I did a show last night and it was a small stage on Beale Street.
yeah,
And, not all, this is already a small stage. I've played it with my 4-piece band.
yeah,
But then it was a songwriter night and we had to 6-foot distance. And so like one of the guys, I was in the middle because I was the only girl, but one of the guys was literally on the wall. And then the other guy was literally on the other wall.
yeah,
And it was kind of crazy. Like
yeah,
I'm glad we're playing shows, but it was wild.
yeah. Sounds like there's a venue that my buddy's band plays in all the time. The stage is so small that he can only set up his drum kit on the stage, and everybody else is like just in the crowd performing.
Oh
And
no.
it's like maybe you just strip down your drum set. And he's like, you want me to strip down my drum set? And I'm like, it's just an idea.
We'll say like they have those pads. Is that not the same thing as a drum? I don't know. I don't think
No, yeah.
that probably just offended every drummer that's watching.
But no, so small stages are actually very funny just because it's like the makeup and yeah.
they are interesting. You know, you
Yeah.
can't be wailing your guitar because you'll like knock the lead singer out. And
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So you have a the makeup of your band is a four piece. Well, what's the instrument?
well, so four piece.
Four
That's
piece.
me. Um, yeah, kind of right now. Amber Ray Dunn and the Mulberries is the
Okay.
name of the band, and it's me, my lead guitar player, a drummer, and then a upright bassist.
Okay. Nice.
Give or take, I've got some other friends that we like bring in every once in a while
Yeah.
if the money's there. But the solid core of the band is that.
Nice. I'm trying to next time I go down to Florida, I'm grabbing my dad's upright
Oh,
because he has an
did your
upright.
dad play?
He used to,
Okay.
except his upright is from the 1920s, and the neck is so distressed that if you try and like play it, it just kind of automatically jumps out of tune.
Oh yeah.
So it's like it's playable. Like if you were to put some money into it and just kind of
Yeah.
refurbish it a little bit, you could probably get it playable. But I just kind of want to save it from that Florida humidity. But it's one of
Yeah.
those things where it's like my apartment's small enough as it is. I don't know where I'm going to fit an upright,
Oh, well,
but
so that would be a sculptural piece in a corner.
yeah, it would
If you have
literally,
room for a sculptural piece, that's what that
yeah.
would be.
So I'm trying to get his upright, and I've always been fascinated by uprights because I've seen that thing sitting in every house I've lived in since I was one, or since I can remember. But so no, that's cool that you have an upright four piece, and you guys are actually playing shows. Are you playing pretty regularly in
Well, I was gonna say
West
no,
Coast, right?
we ain't playing shows.
No.
I would love to say that we are. I've been doing at least throughout this entire year, mostly songwriter shows or
Okay.
duo shows.
Okay. So last night was
Like,
kind of a one-off thing.
yeah, the money hadn't been there,
Uh-huh.
but before that's what I had. Like, if I could do what I needed to do, it'd be 4 to 5 piece band on the stage. But this year has just been so crazy,
Yeah.
and it's mostly been duo stuff or songwriter stuff.
Gotcha.
And so I'm really, really hoping for the moment that I can bring all the guys back out, because that's the energy. That's and being the artist and the person up there trying to deliver the message,
Mhm.
so to speak.
Yeah.
It's so hard to deliver that message in a culpable way that people get it as the message should be,
Yeah.
without what needs to be there. But if they're not getting paid, I don't blame them for not
Yeah.
coming. And not everybody can
Yeah.
come every time for free.
Yeah.
We're not monkeys.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to say a lot of musicians are booking Texas tours right now.
So I've had that thought, because when Barbershop came out and I distributed it, and you get your downloads and you get your like playback of who's getting it and who's not and who's caring.
Yeah.
Texas has been a big enjoyer of that song.
Only been in Texas for a year and a half, or a little less than a year and a half right now.
Yeah.
Texas is a wild place. It is a wild place. Like, whew, man,
I will say
thought
my whole life being a musician, which I haven't been to Texas a lot. I've just been to Texas a couple of times driving through usually.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that y'all have the best radio stations for country music. Like here in Memphis, I don't even care. I'll call them out. We ain't got no good country radio stations.
Really?
Like, no, we have 2 or 3. One of them decently plays good country, and then the others just play, whatever.
Yeah.
But Texas, every time I go through there, I'm hearing some like Keith Whitley and like, just some good country music.
That's because a lot of Texas country stations have an unwritten rule that they have to play some new Texas Red Dirt country artist every hour, like a lot of the stations. So if they are from Texas,
I'm digging it, man.
Yeah. So like you'll be driving through like West Texas with the country radio on. It's like, I don't even know who this guy is, but
Yeah, that's the last time I drove through Texas. I just remember every station, you kind of flip a little bit. Even if you like a station, sometimes you'll flip because you're driving for 5 hours or whatever. And it was like every station had some like, oh,
Yeah.
it was your favorite song from the 60s or the 50s or the,
Yep.
whatever time of your life that was your favorite song. It's so much so you couldn't pick your favorite song. And it was like every freaking station. And I just gained such a respect for Texas country. Y'all got it.
Yeah. Well, you can't say y'all and include me because
Oh,
I'm from Chicago. Like
those people around you got it.
like I mean, I could sit here and say, yeah, you can include me. I've got a Texas driver's license. It says I'm a Texan, but no,
That's
I've
legit.
been here a year and a half. Who am I kidding? Like,
And where are you from, you said?
Chicago.
Oh, well, so I know the interview is supposed to go this way, but real fast, like, how did you get here? How did you get to
A job interview.
Chicago? Because that is so random.
A job. Well, okay, we'll run down this alley here a little bit.
Sorry.
I grew up in like the greater Chicagoland area for 22 years.
Okay.
And pretty much stayed in the same basic area. And when I graduated with my associates from community college, I was like, man, I need to get out of here because everybody's like stuck in the same place they were 5 years ago. I need to get the hell out of here. So I went to Southern Illinois. And from there, after I graduated with my bachelor's, I just kind of started moving all over the place. Like I lived in Kentucky for a year. I was gonna move up to North Dakota, and then I got some sense into myself and was like, nope, I'm not. And then I ended up moving out to New Mexico, Florida, Texas. So, and then when I was
just wondering.
Yeah, when I was in Florida, I worked for a TV station. They got bought out by a company, and they had an opening here in Texas, and Texas is a lot closer to New Mexico, where like Live and Amplified's kind of based out of. And so
Where
it
in
was
Florida were you at?
Tallahassee.
Okay.
I call it the armpit of Florida because it's like all the negative things about Florida, but none of the positives.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, cool. Glad to have you in Texas. Apparently you're appreciating the country music. So
yeah, it's awesome. I wish I could see more of it, but like with COVID, everything was shut down pretty quickly. And I'm like,
I will say one thing I have always wanted to play. And if there's anyone watching and they have any contacts, call me. But I went to Texas. I've only been to Texas like 2 or 3 times ever in my life. And they were always like for an event, did the event, come back. I've never just like spent time in Texas. And one of them, we actually had an hour to spend. So we went to, everybody kept telling me like, you need to go to the stockyards because we were outside of Fort Worth or whatever.
Yep.
And we went to the stockyards and we were only there for an hour. Didn't have time to even one beer maybe.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I loved it so much. I was like, I got to play the stockyards. This is so cool. This is so my vibe. These are so my people.
Yeah.
And I just like, literally, I want to go back to Texas for the stockyards. That was so cool. I loved it. Absolutely.
I haven't had a chance to make it to the stockyards yet, but everybody that played, because I'm in Waco. So I'm like an hour and a half, depending on where in Dallas I need to go.
Okay.
I'm like an hour and a half from Dallas. So
okay. I'll be in Dallas soon, actually. So
nice.
Might have coffee.
Yep, let me know. But yeah, just Texas in general is crazy. Like the only thing that sucks is when you got to drive from Central Texas through West Texas. Like West Texas, that drive is just
dead.
Like what is going on? It is just flat. Like I thought driving through Illinois was boring. No, driving through West Texas is boring.
See, and that's why y'all have such good radio stations, is because the DJs know that, and they're like, okay, they need good music because they're gonna die.
Like that's the funny thing. So okay, I told you, or I moved out to New Mexico. I was living in Roswell, New Mexico. Aliens, yes, cool, fun.
Yeah.
And so
aliens.
Yeah. It's awesome. It's a cool place. It's like one of those hidden gems in New Mexico. Like it's known for one thing, but it's got a lot of other stuff going for it.
Yeah.
But over the summer, they launched a new rock radio station, and the program director knew who I was and reached out like, "Hey, you want to produce like a 2-hour radio show every week?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what you got?" And he's like, "Well, I need a 2-hour rock radio program." And I was like, "You sure you don't want country? Because I could give you like an 8-hour country radio station." He's like, no, I need rock. And I'm like, okay, let's do rock.
Oh,
Cause it's like, I have a lot of rock band contacts, but for every rock band that I have like 12 really good country musicians. It's like,
yeah.
but maybe soon we'll get into the country realm of
We
things.
will get there. We will get ourselves there.
Yep. But so you got the music video hopefully dropping next week. Hopefully, you
Hopefully.
got the new song dropping the end of the month. Do you have you released any information on the new single for February or?
Not really, but it comes out the 26th, and funnily enough, it's actually a song that I was trying to get on my first album, and my producer was like, "That's not finished." He kept telling me it's not finished. I was like, "It is. That's all I got. Like, that's all the well gave me." And so then when I started working with this new producer, he was like, "Oh yeah, it's not finished." And I was like, "Damn it, that's what the last guy said." Okay, what does it need? And he was like, "Well, it needs this." And he gave a melody throughout a melody.
Mhm.
And of that melody, I wrote lyrics. So I'm
Gotcha.
excited.
So so now it's finished and it's good to go.
Well, the old producer hasn't heard it because he's a really good friend of mine.
Yeah.
Actually, he's my lead guitar player slash best friend. So I really hope when he hears it, he says, "Oh, that's finished. That's what I
Yeah.
heard." You never know what someone else is gonna say, but you know, I wrote this song a cappella. I wrote the
Mhm.
song without an instrument, and so in the acapella world, sometimes you think it's finished when it's not because you don't have that next chord that you should be going to or whatever it is to like bring the song down or whatever it is to navigate you. You're just kind of free for all.
Mhm.
And so that was traditionally how I wrote. And I still kind of mostly write a cappella.
Yeah.
I just wrote a new one called Until I Met You, and I sang it last night at the show
Nice.
a cappella. And my guitar player, when he learned it, he was like, "Wait, you've got like a 2 bar and then you go to a 4 bar and like, what do you do?" I don't know what I'm doing, but when it hits, it hits, and I just let it hit. Um, but that's kind of how that came about. And, it's been a song for a minute. It just
Yeah.
hasn't been recorded, so I'm excited to finally get it out.
Nice. Awesome. Awesome. So that comes out the end of the month, and will there be a lyric video? There'll be a lyric video
Yeah.
with that one, right?
Well, this one will probably be lyric
Yeah.
video, just because I don't know. A lyric video. It's kind of a sassy. Um, Originally, for anybody that might be watching this that has followed my career, this was Green to Blue. That was the name of the song. Now it's called Digging for the Truth.
Nice.
So, those original fans, if you don't like it, I'm sorry.
It is what it is.
It was originally a song called Green to Blue, and it's just a very sassy, like this dude done told me the wrong thing, and I ain't taking it kind of a song. And I didn't want to have to act that out. So I was like, let's just do a lyric video. And then maybe the third or fourth, or we're gonna do some actual like acted out videos in
Yeah.
between. But lyric videos here and there just kind of cleanses the palate for everybody, I think.
Yeah.
So
And I mean, I think you could also even do like for more acoustically like stripped back. Like if you have anything that's more like acoustic stripped back, you could almost do like a live performance video.
well, and see,
So,
there's that. My fiance and I just bought a 5 acre ranch
mhm.
out in Arkansas. And that was one of the things I was talking to one of my buddies that does production about doing that kind of a thing and
Mhm.
like just picking little areas of the ranch or the farm, I
Yeah.
guess, and like doing those kind of videos because one, that would be really easy. And then two, for some of the songs, they don't really need much more.
Yeah.
So don't overthink it.
As especially if they're like just musically, they're just very not simple, but like stripped back. Like it's
Yeah.
just and you don't need to have like your four piece with you, just stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
And I will say this one, even though it's kind of a rockin' song,
yeah.
it probably only has 3, 4, 5 instruments. It doesn't have a lot on it. Like he's kind of doing this guitar thing that's almost like the Johnny Cash thing where
Yeah.
he made it almost sound like there was a percussion there where there wasn't because he stuck the
Yeah.
dollar bill in his neck. It does that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think it would work. And I also think because of that, it would work for more of a stripped down version.
Gotcha.
We're going to see though.
Awesome. Well, one of the things that we like to do on Live and Amplified is
Mhm.
we like to pass on knowledge to younger musicians.
Okay.
Today we're going to do this a little bit different because this morning I had posted on our Facebook page basically an ask me anything type situation.
Uh,
And one artist asked me a question that I had a very specific answer for, but I thought it'd be kind of cool to flip it on its head and ask you this question and see how you'd answer it.
Okay.
So his question, first of all, the artist's name is Few.
Okay.
His question is, how do artists starting out balance time between creating and promoting? Sometimes it feels like social media has become an arms race.
Mm. I feel like in that realm, you kind of have to do you.
Mhm.
I started out here in Memphis. I did Memphis for a second, and then I moved to Nashville, did that for a second, and then I came back to Memphis. But I really didn't know what I was doing until the second time I was back in Memphis. And I started out doing a open mic, and you build it, they'll come, so to speak, and artists started coming and that kind of thing. And that then for 4 years, I've been the vice president of the Memphis Songwriters Association. And it's a hobbyist / professional organization. So it's a little bit of both. And then my buddy down here, the place I'm at, I don't know if you can see the logo, let me move. South Main Sounds. This is Memphis's only songwriter venue. And so I will say the only thing with social media that you need to make sure you do is change it up.
Yep.
Don't be boring. Don't. And by change it up, I don't mean go out of your way. Don't be weird about it. But because I had those three things, I'm not saying I still have them, but at that time I had three things. I'd be talking about South Main Sounds. I'd be talking about my open mic. I'd be talking about Memphis Songwriters Association. I kind of changed it up. So for me, it was different all the time. And then he's kind of right. Mm-hmm. With his question. You can't ever let it be something that's a burden. You kind of have to like navigate between. I don't have a TikTok yet. I don't know if I'm gonna get a TikTok. I don't do Twitter at all. Like, thank God Instagram lets you like also post it to your Twitter because I happen to be good at Instagram. I happen to be good at good loosely at Facebook.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes as an artist, almost that question in general, the way that he has worded that, he feels like something is being bogged down on him.
Yeah.
It is being pushed on him. Don't ever let anything be pushed on you, first of all. Because like I said, I'm a creative at heart. And then with the Memphis Songwriters Association, the open mic, everything that I've ever done is all about helping other people.
Yeah.
And myself, but other people. I get so much. Every time I watch somebody that has never played out live ever, or is shy about playing out live, or doesn't think they're good enough, or any of that gives me so much vigor and just kind of re-energizes whatever I'm doing, because it's all about energy. Music, art, it's all about energy. And the way that question was worded, it almost feels like he is seeing as a burden.
Yeah.
And to a degree, yes, it is a burden.
Yeah.
But that's where the whole like changing it up and doing whatever you actually feel good at, you have to make it not a burden. And sometimes it's hard. You gotta surround yourself with friends that are like-minded and positive, and that's really all I can say to that, because it's just one of those things that you just mindset. It's all about your own personal mindset. Make sure if you're married, divorced, whatever kind of situation you're in life, you're able to have enough moments for your own mind to get where you need to be. Even if you have to wake up an hour early to sit by yourself and drink coffee by yourself and stare out the window, whatever it is for you that can just get you to understand you.
Absolutely.
And I think that would help that particular artist.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like, fortunately for me, I have a little bit more context into like where he's at in his career and like what's going on. But what I I was gonna save it to do like an Instagram live because I'm trying to be more vigilant that I need to be more present on Instagram because like I'll get really hot on it and then like every day I'm posting like 7 times a day, posting really cool content. And then for like 3 weeks straight, I won't post a thing.
I
You
do
know,
the same thing with Instagram.
and so like I'm trying to be more like even if I'm just posting once a day, at least just like continually posting.
Yeah.
But so one of the things I've wanted to do was like an AMA live and basically just go on there and answering one specific question. But basically, what I've been kind of battling around with is this idea of using like because I think what his main concern is he doesn't want the promoting of his music to take away from the creative aspect of his music, like the just like the time aspect. Um, and so my theory or thought or idea, however you want to word it, was use the creativity as your promotion tool. So like while you're sitting there working on a song, take your phone out, flip on Instagram live and just
Oh yeah, I would feel like that would be kind of a no brainer. And I think
yeah,
some people, being having that background in artists,
yep,
I know that some artists, when you're really artsy, you get a little stuck in your head.
yeah,
And so maybe this guy is not understanding that, hey, wait, your head, we're not there. None
yeah,
of us are there. We don't get it. So bring us into your head by doing what you just said.
yeah, absolutely. So that's kind of where my head because I don't assume anything anymore. Like I just
Hmm.
kind of if it pops into my head, I just say it, just well, even if it sounds really dumb or really basic, it's like, well, maybe I'm the person that maybe he has heard it 100 times. And for whatever reason, I'm the person that it just finally clicks like, oh, I need to do that. That happens to me all the time. Like
Yeah.
I'll be watching an interview and it's like, hey, how come you're not on Twitter? You know, and it's like, I hear it 100 times. And then that 101st time, it's like, oh, I should be on Twitter,
Well, and
and
that's part of what I was saying about surrounding yourself with the like-minded individuals
yep,
is because not every I mean you literally can't do everything at once.
yeah,
It's a learning curve, it's a process.
yeah,
And so as long as you have friends that are moving forward like you are and they're going towards the same type of goals,
yeah,
then like you said, the third time's a charm, fifth time's a charm, whatever it is, they'll still be telling you that because they're still your friend, they care about you, and
yep,
they know what you need to be doing.
yeah,
But when it's time for you to do that, you'll feel it, you'll
yeah.
hear it, you'll do it.
Not to throw something else on your plate, but just kind of talking to you over the last 50-ish minutes and kind of getting a feel for who you are a little bit. There's this new app out called Clubhouse,
Okay.
and basically it's just like a straight up audio version of this, a conversation. Somebody will start up a room like 20 tips for musicians with no money, something like that. And the entire conversation will be about things that you do to promote your music with no
Huh.
money. And so it's like a creative community just sitting
But
there.
it's like a podcast kind of thing? Or
It's not it's just like a
Zoom
social
kind of
like
thing now?
yeah, it's well, this without the video. It's like audio, just like a straight up
Oh,
audio
okay.
thing. And imagine like a fireside chat with
Ooh,
people you've never met before.
cool.
So
That sounds
it's
really
one of those
fun.
interesting things. And before you jumped on here, I was in one and I'm just because it was like I was just playing around with it and I'm like, there's something to this. I gotta figure it out. But
Okay,
there's
I'm
some
gonna look into that then.
yeah. So
Thank
but
you.
so outside of music, you're a really busy person. You do all kinds of creative art, hairstyling, you create jewelry, I even see. But
Yeah.
when it comes down to just you getting away from everything, decompressing, what's your thing? What's your getaway? Leave me alone. Don't talk to me.
Gardening
Okay.
and cooking.
Okay.
Like I will never text you when I'm cooking.
Okay.
I mean, I might have some videos. I might have taken a video of the sauce while it's boiling, or I might have taken a picture of the food when it's done, or same thing, flower when it's bloomed, or blah, 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 blah. But I'm not on my social media. Love you all to death, but I don't care what you're doing
Yeah.
when I am cooking or gardening. And I know both of those are still creative mediums, but that's all I got. That's all God gave me in my mind was creative mediums. And so for me, the gardening and the cooking are kind of my Zen zones
Yeah.
that I'm not in competition. I just get to be me and do it how I feel and really enjoy
Nice. Well, what's your favorite dish to make,
it.
cooking wise?
So my mom makes the best stuffed bell peppers
Okay.
ever, and they are like probably diabetically worth what she puts in them.
Okay.
And I like to think that I'm very proud that I
Mhm.
have made her version a little healthier, but just as tasty. Now, she hadn't said that, but I swear I took her because her version, oh my gosh, you'll die. It's so good,
Yeah.
but you'll also die
Yeah.
because
Yeah. I feel you.
they're literally the best. And I made a healthier version. I like to attribute it to that. Um,
I tried to do that once with my dad's biscuits and gravy, and it just didn't work out that well. It was,
that's what I was gonna say. Not always does it work out.
yeah,
I literally have tried that with every meal.
yeah,
And I would say the stuffed bell pepper is the only one that it actually came
works. Yeah.
out.
Because when I was in college, I went through a little bit of a health kick. I was like, I'm going to
Yeah.
start eating healthy. Like, I'm going to get myself eat raw food,
Yeah.
whatever. And I got like a couple of weeks in, and I was like, I want biscuits and gravy. How do I make this work? And I went to the
Yeah.
store and I spent like all this money on like wheat flour and olive oil, like just like
Yeah.
all this stuff. And I went and tried to make biscuits and gravy, and it was like dry dog biscuits and flour paste. And I'm just
So
sitting here, I'm
I
like,
will say biscuits are really one of the hardest
yeah,
things. So, that's not your fault.
no. So I'm just like, all right, well, next time I want biscuits and gravy, I'll just go make actual biscuits and gravy, not try and be healthy with it.
Well, so there are certain things you can't be healthy with. My
Yeah.
mama's greens. Don't. Don't. Like no. Don't.
Yeah. I got
Don't try. Eat mama's greens. Cook mama's greens how mama cooks mama's greens. There's no point.
you. No.
We can skimp on something else. Like don't put sugar in your bread. I don't know what you want to skimp on,
Yeah.
but there are certain things you don't skimp
Yeah.
on, and
Don't skip on. Yeah.
you don't skip on mama's greens.
Yeah. Nope. Not at all. I feel you on that one. But I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I'm really appreciative of the fact that we've been able to sit down and chat, and I'm really excited to hear the new single coming out the end of February. I'm really excited to see the new music video. And now that you've mentioned that you have to go reshoot, I'm going to see if I can notice the reshoots.
I know. I'm chewing gum, so
Honestly, though, I mean, unless you're like chomping away at the gum, like.
Well, and I don't know what he meant, but I know me. I'm pretty passionate at everything I do, so
Yeah.
probably I was chomping away at the gum.
Okay. I feel it. I got you. But what's kind of the plan moving forward as you get ready to release the new? Do you have any like shows on the docket, or is it all just kind of virtual shows? Anything?
I would love to say shows. We may have one on the 7th. I'm not really sure.
Okay.
Which is Sunday. I know it sounds stupid to not really be sure.
Yeah.
Memphis is not as open up as some places.
Yeah.
So there are still a little songwriter here and there kind of things,
Yeah.
but really not a lot.
Okay.
Definitely nothing with the band. I got messaged about a private party today with, if that goes through, that would be the band. But
Yeah.
I don't know. You'd have to keep in line with my social medias, and
Yep.
they're all at Amber Ray Dunn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that's Ray, RAE.
Okay.
That's all I can really say, because everything, unfortunately, right now is a little bit of tentatively.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you book a gig, and I've had some, and they've been canceled flat out because somebody at that place has gotten COVID or just whatever. And so I'm really nervous to just really be promoting a gig. I honestly don't promote it until the day of or the day before, because
you just don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
And
there's some states where you like the law is you or the rule or whatever you want to say is you if you're going to have music you can't promote it as a show. It's just the music's there in accompaniment of while they get their food or whatever it is. An
Mhm.
enhanced experience is what they were trying to word it as, but it's
Yeah,
just like
that was one thing that I've found a lot of times. And even when I went to do my music video, I kind of told people that I'm very sorry. Take this as you will. Do with it what you want to do personally on your own comfort level. But for this shot, I don't want anyone in masks.
mm-hmm,
I want it to be timeless. If you don't want to come, don't come. If
mm-hmm,
you do, do. I apologize. I'm not trying to offend anyone,
yeah,
but just for the sake of the music,
yeah,
I want it to be timeless and I
yeah,
don't want people wearing masks.
yeah,
And
and that's fair. Like
yeah, I was
it's
gonna say,
very
and we did what we did, and the video is gonna come out. But I feel like I need to tell people that because maybe some people chose not to come to the
yeah,
video shoot for that reason,
yeah,
and that's fine. I don't judge you, but don't judge me for wanting a timeless video.
yeah,
So I feel like that's kind of the way we have to navigate towards forward.
mm-hmm,
I understand these venues having to do that, but I also like as an artist, if you don't, depending on how much of a following you have, if you don't really promote it and they don't know in enough time, people have kids, people have
yep,
lives, people
yep,
have jobs.
yep,
They're not just sitting around waiting for their favorite country artist to have a show.
yeah,
And so you have to promote it to a degree
yep,
to let these people know and like make time in their lives. And so I think we're all trying to, as long as your heart is right, as long as you're trying to do the best you can to make yourself and your fans and your friends and everyone safe, I think we're gonna make it.
yep, absolutely. I 100% agree. I feel you on that one. Once again, I want to thank you so much for jumping on the podcast. It's been an absolute blast.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see everything. Can't wait to get that vinyl at the end of the year. So
I'll send
remember
you
to
one.
us. Uh, but once again, thank you for jumping on. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will catch you guys later.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. All right, we're good.
Am I off?
Yep, we're off.
Okay.